Well, good morning, my Teaserking family. I'm on just a bit early, so happy times. Hope everybody is doing well. Happy Friday. And we've got the NFL playoffs coming, and we've got our college game on Monday. So we got a lot of snow yesterday. Just a second. Just a second. I'm sorry. All right. Sorry about that. So let's check our gold and silver, see what's going on. So there was the little games being played in the COMEX market, of course. So look what happened at 8 o'clock for both gold and silver. This huge drop from 46.15 to 45.85. Gold's rebounded all the way back, 46.12, down $7. So it was 46.19. Where silver did the same. Oh, by the way, we did the same thing in silver. It was 91.33 and it goes down to 88. It goes down $3, and now it's coming back, but not as much. But still, we got 89.66, so 90. It'll get back to 91.92. Really wouldn't be too concerned with it. It's just the COMEX. I don't know if they did another margin call or what happened at 8 o'clock. It's the end of Europe, so Europe shorts it, and the U.S. will start taking over at 10 o'clock, and we've had the drop, so I would think it'd buy. But we know it's $1,000 silver. We just gotta let it get there. But this is all phony paper. Nobody's selling. Nobody's driving the price down except for with these options. So it's a lot of bullshit, as we know. But we're not worried about it because we have physical. I'm not going to run I'm not going to run to the store and go, "Oh my God, it's only 89. I better sell it before it drops." No, it's not. It's going up. So I was watching Mark McGuire. He's back on, and you get to the point where he's like, "Is silver overvalued? Is gold over? They've been running and running. Is it overvalued?" No, it's not, because it's not a stock. It's not overvalued because it's based on supply and demand. It's based on free market economics, and it's being priced by Shanghai. And whatever that they sell their bullion for is the price. So it is not, if anything, it's still undervalued at 89.50 right now. It's $1,000 an ounce item because it's very limited and high demand. Will the demand shrink? Well, as people realize, I have to get out of the dollars, the demand would never shrink. Plus, all the companies need it for whatever they use it, the military, the electric, the phones, computers, whoever uses silver has to have it, so they will keep buying it. That's not going away. Even in a depression, you're still going to have the military, because we're just going to keep printing money for them, apparently, because we don't think anything can happen to the money. We think the money, you can just keep printing it and nothing will happen to it. It'll keep its value, and it's a bunch of bullshit. I called Jim Rickards out on it on his show, and he said, "Somebody called me an idiot." I go, "Cause you are an idiot. What the fuck do you think is going on? You can't print and nothing happens. I mean, you can print theoretically, but nobody will want it. It's not backed by anything. It's not worth anything." Then I was watching a video where it says about gold goes gold keeps going. What was it? The dollar is based on has value because of trust. So if we trust that it's worth something, it is, and if we don't trust it, it's worthless. Who the fuck trusts this? I mean, just going to the grocery store, seeing higher prices, how can you trust this? So I'm not. So um, so there's got to be trust in it. Well, do you really trust it? Uh, I'll get away from that. Uh, Do you really trust it? Um, hey, John C. I'm fine, thank you. How are you? So that's the key. But why do I have to trust it? Do I trust this, and do I trust gold? Maybe yes, I do, because I know it's always been worth something since the Romans, 5,000 years. It's always had a value. So maybe that's why we trust it, and maybe that's why we don't trust Bitcoin, and maybe that's why we know enough not to trust this. So we don't trust this because it always loses value because it's not backed by anything. So we understand the concept. If there's no gold backing, if I can't turn it in for gold, I don't trust it. And I certainly don't trust the government, and they're Keynesians and they keep printing the money. And you got to think, well, if they keep printing the money, what's going on? I don't understand. So that's, I think, the key. You can't just keep printing money and think it's got a value. That's just wrong. So I don't think you think that. So with gold and silver, we know it has a value. We know it's undervalued. So when it runs up like this, silver runs to $90, $92, then they start doing shorting and they do margin calls. And I've kind of thought of margin call. I'm thinking fifth dimensionally on it. So I'm thinking in an alternative way of what they're doing. First, you think, well, they're just trying to push the price down. But I don't think that's what it is. I think they think these guys can't pay. And I think that they're worried about getting paid for the margin calls. And therefore, they're doing the margin calls for fear of they won't pay their contract versus trying to push the price down. Because the price they can't push down. And when they do, it jumps right back up. So it's not, I don't think they're still price fixing because it comes from Shanghai anyway. I think it's let's get these people out of here. Okay, you owe margin. It's the same in stocks. They do margin calls in stocks where you got 20% down and 80% in margin, and the stock starts going down. You're going to get calls because they're like, "Hey, you got to cover it. You got to cover more." And that's what really caused 1929 was the margin call. So I don't really know if that's the same thing here with the margin calls. Anyway, sorry. All right. All right. Sorry about this. Anyway, sorry about that. So it's a trust issue. In other words, you get $100, you trust it's worth 100 because that's how you've grown up. Oh, I can use this 100 and go to the grocery store, go to the restaurants, go to the stores and buy things. And as long as that's, as long as that's the point, then, Well, the dollar works, so you trust it. It's like your friend. You call your friend and you say, "Can you pick me up?" And okay, and then the friend picks you up. So now you've earned trust. You call them again, they pick you up. You call them again, they pick you up, and so therefore they you earn the trust. So what's happening with the dollar? You go to the store, it works. You use your credit card, it works. It works. The debit card, uh, all that works, right? So that's, I think, the key is if I go to the dollar, it's when I go to the store and the dollar doesn't work, I don't have trust in it. So the dollar will keep working, but it buys less and less. We go get milk and ice cream, and the milk is now $5. And everybody thinks, oh, the milk went up in value. The milk costs more. It went up more. Well, no, that's not what's happening. The milk didn't really go up. The dollar lost value. Now, here's where I always argue with some of these guys going, well, the dollar lost its value. That's why gold's higher. And I disagree. It's the gold having higher demand pushing the price up because more people want it and there's a limited supply. So I don't think it's the dollars going down that's causing this. So going up. So sometimes it's demand, but in the grocery store, I don't think it's demand because you see a lot of things on sale, which causes the price. Oreo cookies, $5.50 for the pack that used to cost $1. And so now you're seeing, oh wait, we'll put it on sale, 2 for $5 because it's too high. But they want to sell more of it, so they put it 2 for $5. You buy 2 of them. So if you buy 2 of them, then that's wait a minute, so you think, oh, I'm getting a bargain on, but that shows you there's no demand, because if there was demand for Oreos at that price, they wouldn't put it on sale. They only put things on sale because it's over market. It's just like the cars I showed you the other day, where they have all these cars in the lot because nobody can buy it because they're too expensive or nobody wants it. Either way, there's no market for an SUV at $55,000, $60,000. People just don't have the money and don't need the car or don't like the car, or I'm going to buy a Mercedes for that price, or I'm going to buy a Toyota for $25,000. People, because the money is getting worse. But people won't understand it's the money that's getting crushed. They will think it's the dollar. They won't understand that. They won't understand the dollar is losing value. They'll look at everything at prices. So I think that's the big question is it the prices? John C. Joe Fagnino is pretty good. He's from UConn. TK think he's be a good backup. I don't know because I've never seen him play, but he had 28 touchdowns and 1 pick. He's a good quarterback. Now, is he safe? Is he just throwing 5-yard passes? The new NFL, we're going to throw it to the back out of the backfield, or we're going to throw this wide receiver screen. And then, I threw for 80%. My mother could throw for 80% throwing 2 yards. It's going over the middle. It's how many touchdowns you have, how many interceptions. So he's pretty good at not the interceptions, but I don't know. I've never seen Connecticut football with Joe Fagnano. So from intelligence wise, he seems intelligent because he won't do that. He won't throw the pick. Nobody wants Pavia. Well, that's their problem. Why is that? He's the best quarterback, so I don't want, he can run. He's very accurate. He's a winner. So whoever does take him will be very happy they do. But I would take him over any other quarterback. Again, I don't know what the problem is with him. He won at New Mexico State. That's about all you can say. And then at Vandy, he beats Alabama. Okay, what else you want? He went to Tennessee the end of the season, threw for 500 yards. What's wrong with the guy? He's too small. His attitude. What are you talking about? It's all bullshit. So, the team that gets Pavi is the team I'm going to bet on. Oh, he'll go. It's like Hartman. I don't understand that he's not playing. He's by far better than most of these guys, even the starters. I'd rather have him than let's see, Darnold. I'd take Hartman over Darnold and over Stroud. Maybe over Drake May. We'd have to see. So, they're trying to say it's a trust issue with the dollar. So I think if we look at it like that, the dollar is based on if it's backed by gold, the trust is the gold. Uh, Football, I don't know. We'll see who gets drafted. We'll get drafted. That's all we can say. Mark McGuire is on. He's calling for $8,000 gold. I think that's conservative. His silver estimate of 150, he thinks it'll hit 150 very soon. My silver estimate's 1,000 by the end of the year because there's no reason for it to stop. And I don't look at the ratio because I don't care about the ratio. It's the demand. If the demand outpaces gold because they need it for all these other uses, then it'll certainly go higher. So it'll go and go and go. So it should be running. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay. So right now 46.73 and 89.63. So you can see it's bouncing back. It's been around 4,600. So this little play here is nothing. And then silver gets to 91, 92. And then, you get this bullshit. You get this what is this bullshit? 91 down to 88. What is this? A $3 drop at 8 o'clock. And now it's coming back. And now we'll see what happens at 10 o'clock with the U.S. But anyway, it's all bullshit. So we don't pay much attention. I'm not selling my silver at 89. The goal is not to sell my silver at all. Unless I need, if I need $100 or $1,000 here or there, pay some bills, go on a trip, I'll use my credit card, but then I need money to pay the credit card, or I might need money to take with $500 in cash or something. So it's things like that. All right, let's check the weather. NFL playoffs. Buffalo, Denver, 35 and clear. Let's see a little bit more detail. It's 33 and 7. So yeah, it's fine. It's not cold. This is Denver. They're used to it. So yeah, it's pretty mild day. It was 50, so it's dropped to 35, but it's still fine. Seattle and the Niners is 43, 2-mile-an-hour winds, clear. So we have no weather in Seattle. 45 is playable. The Niners was colder in Philadelphia, had no problem. Houston at New England. We've got in New England 29, 5-mile-an-hour winds, and it looks like we'll get snow. Okay, does snow matter? Not really. Big winds matter. Yeah, look at the gusts, 9 miles an hour. So it's likely snow doesn't mean anything. Let's go by the fourth. Now, in the fourth quarter, we're definitely getting snow, and it's 24, but it's still no wind. They're going to run the ball a lot. Houston's defense won't be too effective. So I don't see that being a thing. And now we look at our Bear game with the Rams. Chance of snow, 21, 14-mile-an-hour winds. And in the first quarter, we got 8 degrees. So this was up. This was saying 0 earlier in the week. It's now 8, 14-mile-an-hour winds, and $20, 23-mile gust, which we know it's the Windy City. You'll get that. But it's like 8 degrees. Same in the second quarter, same in the third quarter, and here's the fourth quarter, 7 degrees. Chance of snow, 13-mile-an-hour winds. So it's getting warmer. I don't know at what point I would start thinking over. 7's getting close. If the wind chill goes from 20 to 7, it's still rough on a passing team like the Rams. The Bears like to run the ball anyway. So, I was watching the Bear Green Bay game from last week, and, it's just the Bears, they just have a tendency not to score, but when they need the plays, it's like they save the plays and they're a little more tired. The other team, I guess, is what's happening. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I would almost say if I get over 10 degrees, I would bet it over. But 7, I'm still a little bit concerned. It's hard to throw. So the running team, Chicago, gets the edge. The Rams defense sucked. I was watching the Ram Carolina game. I kind of watched all the games, and the Ram Carolina and the Rams defense sucked. You're letting Steve Young beat you. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And when Stafford wanted to, he scored the touchdown. But I think in this game, it's a definite over if we get maybe 15 degrees, but I don't think we will. Here, it warmed up. It was 50 degrees the other day, and then all of it, I think it was Tuesday, and all of a sudden we got a snowstorm. And I was out driving, went to the pool. It was like it wasn't thick blizzard, stormy. It was just consistent, like an average rainfall, and it just went on for hours, and we got probably 5 inches of snow, and the roads were terrible. Yesterday, the roads were fine. It was still very cold. Today, I went out to my car. It was getting warmer. So I don't know. You can see Denver's getting colder. Seattle's a little colder. New England might get snow. If New England gets our snow, that game's going to be really difficult. Miami doesn't have to worry about it. All right, let's go through the line. Denver. He banged up. Josh Allen tries to keep it going at Denver. Yeah, well, he'll be all right. Denver 1-46, and that line really hasn't. I had Buffalo 1.5. I bet Denver. Denver's 1. I don't know if I'm going to bet Buffalo. I think Denver wins at home, especially Josh Allen being a little injured, and Denver with the better team, better defense. Bo Nix is fine. We've got in a teaser, we've got Denver 16-1 this year, 35-3 over the last 2 years. If you take them in a teaser, so if you take them, so I took them plus 7.5 already, and then now they're laying 1. You can take them plus 5, where I took them plus 7.5. If Buffalo wins, it's going to be a close game. If Buffalo wins, it'll probably be by a field goal like they did at Jacksonville. They're not a dominant blowout team. Josh Allen tends to score what they need. Their defense not going to hold Bo Nix down. I don't get the hate for Bo Nix. He's a very good quarterback. I don't get the hate for Dagiopava. It's ridiculous. But somebody will, if they drafted Prime Junior, they will draft Tagliapapa. Or then, thank God, on the free agent market, that'll be the biggest crime of the season. Frisco, Seattle. Seattle 745. So you've got obviously whatchamacallit, Kittle out. It's basically a two-man show. Purdy and McCaffrey and a bunch of receivers that probably couldn't make the Ohio State team. Seattle, we've got Darnold, so we got to worry about him. They're going to run the ball a lot because you can't trust Darnold. He throws more interceptions in a game like this. He's going to probably throw 2 interceptions. This is what I mean when I talk about quarterbacks. They can handle the pressure or they can't. They know what to do or they can't. And that's the problem. They just don't know what to do. And that's really the key. If they can't like CJ Stroud, he goes back to pass. He has no idea where he's going with it. And he looks and sees if anybody's open. They're open for about a tenth of a second in the NFL, right? The guy breaks open and then the defense is there. So very rarely you're going to get your guy wide open that I can, oh, look, he's open by 10 yards. No, this isn't college. This isn't Ohio State, where you didn't do that anyway at Ohio State. And I point you to the Michigan game. So, again, you have to look at quarterbacks that are concepts. So Darnell doesn't really have the concept. That's why he struggled with Minnesota. A game against the Lions blitzed the shit out of him, and he was terrible. Then you went to the Rams. You played they played the Rams, I believe, and the Rams blitzed them, and he looked like threw another 5 interceptions. So I would assume that Frisco will blitz him because they know he can't do it. So that's why Seattle will run the ball, and that should be it. And if Seattle wins, it'll be close. Can the Niners win? It's hard to believe with this defense, but they played a 13-3 game, and it was a playoff game. It was for the number 1 seed and the bye. So I think you're going to see something like that. Seattle running and playing the strong defense and putting pressure on Purdy and keying on McCaffrey. Then where's Frisco going to get points? And Seattle can't really afford to let Darnell throw the ball. So it's going to be conservative offense. Like, just we can score 10 points, we win. Don't fuck it up, Darnell. So Frisco's an A team, but I don't think they're an A team with all the injuries. However, they did score 23. So 23 in my world makes them an E team because they give up 22. So that would be an E team close to an under team. And Seattle is an A team with a 14 defense. So you're looking at the 14 defense, very strong, held them to 3 with McCaffrey. I don't see much difference. The weather won't be a problem. There's no teaser trends. It's Purdy against Darnold. Kind of a weak. Put Pavia on Seattle. They win the Super Bowl. All right, the Rams. The Rams are 3.5, 48.5. This was 51. It's down, obviously, because of the cold. The Rams are an over team with the 27 defense and Stafford. I'd say him and Allen are the best 2 quarterbacks, and they're pretty equal. Allen runs more, but Stafford throws better. And then Chicago is a B team with a 22 defense. So they score pretty well, too, with Caleb, who's in. The Bears 16-2 in the teaser, 9-0 at home. 18-2 at home the last 2 years, but it's hard to count last. So even without Ben Johnson and the other idiot, Eberflus, they still were a good home team last year, Buffalo. Caleb, I don't know. He scrambles around. He's tough to tackle, I guess. It's just like high school football. He just throws and prays somebody gets open kind of thing. The play calling's good with Johnson. That's what he's strong at, play calling. He should be the head coach. He should be the offensive coordinator. I would say that Chicago is a live dog. Stafford good to go despite finger sprain. Well, okay, but it's still there. He didn't get his finger better. The cold weather is not going to help his sprained finger. I see this being a very close game. The Bears I can see easily winning. They just beat who did they beat? They beat Green Bay, who's a very similar team, throwing the ball and everything else. And then you've got about the same defense. They both have 27 defenses. So the Bears, I watching the replay, is this some stupid calls going for it on fourth down at your own 32 is probably really stupid. But that's what he thought of the Packer defense. Oh, we can get it. No, they did go to Philly and win. So you got to give them credit when Philly was Philly. So I think they're going to run it through the Rams. They might run the ball a lot to keep Stafford on the bench. The cold weather is not going to help Stafford throw the ball. Caleb, now they played in the cold last week. It was 15, 20 degrees. I don't even know if it was 20. I think it was like 15 with the big wind. They still put up 60 points. So I'm dying to bet this game over, but again, I don't know at what point does the weather affect the game and at what point doesn't it? Well, we're off of 0. We're up to 7. It's Friday. This game is Sunday. So maybe by Sunday, we might get 12, 15 degrees. And if we do, then I'll go over. So keep an eye on the weather. Again, the Bears 16-2 in a teaser, 9-0 at home, 17-2 the last 2 years at home. They're a very strong home team. So the Rams have to travel after traveling to Carolina and then travel to the Bears and worry about the little bit of wind. And the Bears aren't that bad. John C. TK, Seattle will probably win. What do I think? Well, I just talked about the game. Because of the Frisco injuries and the Kittle injury, I still think the Rams are the better team. I think Seattle was a bullshit win over the Rams on a incomplete pass that they called, and the guy just was picking it up to hand it to the ref, and that's a clear recovery. And Seattle didn't, or the Rams didn't even think it was a backward pass. Neither did I. I thought he just threw it sideways. I didn't think it was backward. That was not a backward pass. If it was like by this much. That should never have been a 2-point conversion. So anyway, I think the Rams are the better team in a normal environment. Seattle should beat the Niners, but the Niners beat Philadelphia. So you can't. They're a good team. You can ignore it. 7, I think, is too much, but 1, I would bet it small. I wouldn't bet it. It wouldn't be a lock, the minus the 1, but we will see. But yeah, they should win it because they are at home. But the Niners winning at Philly, you can't just ignore that. So don't ignore it. And our last game is New England, 340.5 to Houston at home. It'll be kind of cold, a little bit of snow, but not terribly cold. Houston, an A team with an 18 defense. So is New England. It means they score about 30-ish, and then they have the killer defense of 18. So both teams have a great defense, which is what we had last week. And I will play defense over offense 100% of the time. So last week, San Diego, they were actually an under team with an 18 defense, and New England had their 18 defense. And New England could score, but New England only got 16. Against the good defense will shut the offense. So here, New England's not scoring against Houston, and Houston's not scoring against New England, not with C.J. Stroud. So this is your free play. You go under in the game. I'm predicting 17-14. The weather, if it snows, even better. We don't care. We wanted 10 below, and you can snow all you want. We've already betted under. So that's your free play. They're both 17-1 in a teaser, so this tells me New England wins by 3 or 4 points. Houston will be a good dog in a teaser. They're like 10-0, 12-0 in a as a road dog. Their defense will keep them in. New England will be lucky to maybe not even get 10 points, as will Houston. C.J. Stroud is not leading the team down the field. This is where the problems of these running quarterbacks are. So you have C.J. Stroud, and you're telling me nobody wants Daggy Opavia, and I just scratched my head going, He's better than CJ Stroud. What the fuck? Even Ferragamo might be better than CJ Stroud. So this is the problem. Why do you have CJ Stroud on your team? And I love how the media, oh, he's the franchise quarterback. Drake May is the franchise. Bullshit. Drake May is no franchise quarterback. These are running quarterbacks. These aren't good quarterbacks. They can't pass the ball. Drake May showed me a little, but let's see what he does against you. This is the show me game, right? You light up Houston's defense, which you will never do, and I'll say you're Joe Montana or Tom Brady. Even they would not light up this defense. There's a game, the Niners played the Giants in a playoff game, 86 or 87, the year the Giants went to the Super Bowl and beat the shit out of Denver. And Montana couldn't even get a first down on Lawrence Taylor. And then Jim Burt in the second quarter just crushed Montana, gave him a concussion, right? He was out for days. The good defense will shut down Joe Montana. Believe me, they're going to shut down CJ Stroud, and they're going to shut down Drake May. You're not going to get a lot of points because the strength of the teams are the defense, and they're going to let the defense penetrate to, that's their strong point. So that's what they have to do. So that's where I'm at with that. So they're both 17-1. So in teasers, Denver 16-1, 35-3 in 2 years. Houston 17-1, like 34-4. New England 17-1. We can only use 1 year because that's variable, but they'll probably be 34-2 after next year. The Bears 16-2 and very strong at home. So people like the Rams. Why? Because of Stafford. He's injured the finger, but okay. But the Bears really is a very strong running attack that Ben Johnson planned. He did it for the Lions, and that was it. And Dan Campbell takes credit for it. Now we're realizing Dan Campbell's not a good coach. It was Ben Johnson the whole time. The last 2 years, the Lions won because of Ben Johnson. You saw what happened with Dan Campbell. He'd get in against games. He couldn't even – the Philadelphia game, they couldn't score. The Green Bay games, they couldn't score. So it was all Ben Johnson at the Lions, not Dan Campbell. Yeah, he yells and he's intense. Does not make you a good coach. Makes you a good motivator. But when you keep going on fourth down, you're an idiot, right? There's select times or against select teams you should go on fourth down. You should not use analytics to figure out how to coach a game. Oh, we got to go for 2 because we're down. Yeah, my favorite one is you're down 14, you score a touchdown, and like an idiot, you go for 2. So I'm down 8. And, the 10% of the time I'm going to make the 2-point conversion, now I'm down 6. Most of the time I'm going to miss it, be down 8, and then need another 2-point conversion if I'm lucky enough to score another touchdown. Instead, I'd be down 7, and then when I go, if I can score again, I can kick the extra point, which is 99% of the time, and then we'll go to overtime. But you don't go for, what's the point of going for 2 down 8? I saw some idiot go for 2 down 9. He didn't get it, and now you're down 9. Now you need 2 scores. At least get down 8, and then you can get the 2-point conversion and cut it. But if you're down 9 and go for 2, you probably should be working at the grocery store. You should not be as a football coach. You don't understand basic math. Basic math tells you what to do. So that's the key to it. I'm going to grab my water in just a second. So I ended up doing 89 hours of fast. I ended it at about noon, well, right after class. Class is over a little after noon, about 12:15 I did that. All that, good morning. I think CJ Stroud is New England's best player. Yeah, I agree with you. He's terrible. You're not going to win with CJ Stroud. So I would hope Houston would draft Dagi. If nobody wants Dagi Opava and I'm Houston, I'm drafting. I just can't imagine that guy being around after the first round, maybe the second. But I'd like to know is why. He fucking played at Mississippi, New Mexico State, and Vanderbilt. He made Vanderbilt viable in the SEC by himself. So you're telling me nobody wants Pavia, and I'd have to say is why? I'll take Pavia. If I have a team, he'd be my first pick. Now, the best players in the draft are the Miami Ruben Bain and the Texas Tech Bailey, and a few others of the Texas Tech players, and a few other of the Ohio State. The defense are the best players and what should be drafted in the first round. First 7, 8 picks should all be these defensive players from those three schools. I don't like Trinidad and Tobago, another one of these running type of quarterbacks. I don't buy what the Harbaugh went to the Giants. The Giants won't get any better because Harbaugh's not a good coach. Harbaugh had a pretty loaded roster and couldn't win because he played Lamar quarterback instead of wide receiver. You could win more with Huntley as your quarterback and Lamar as a slot receiver using his speed than you can with Lamar as a running back. It's very stupid. All that, he gets rattled way too easy. Well, watch the Michigan Ohio State games, 2 games. He did shit. That's why I couldn't believe they drafted him. And as high as they did, and people think, oh, he's this, what a great, he's our franchise quarterback. No, he's not. He couldn't move the ball against Michigan. They would sack him, and he, couldn't throw. Just watch those 2 games, right? Yeah, had a good game against Georgia because he ran all over the place, but that's because Georgia was playing man on man. Michigan had his number. So against good teams, you watch. Stroud won't do shit in this game. The defense, look at even last week against Pitt, he couldn't do anything. They scored twice on defense, a fumble recovery and a pick six. And that is the only way Houston's going to score in this game. That's why we love the under. We're not afraid of Stroud, but their defense will keep May at bay. And where are you going to get points in this game with these defenses? That's how we attack it. But most of these quarterbacks get rattled. Darnold, God knows he gets rattled. Caleb, he gets rattled. Stroud and Drake May, we don't know yet. He didn't do much against San Diego. He ran a lot. I don't think he'll be able to run on Houston because they rush 4 and they're just going to come after him. And believe me, he's not running. He's not going anywhere. And that's his highlight. That's what I don't get. Daggio can throw the ball very well as run out of it. But if you need that touchdown at the end, he'll get you the touchdown at the end, unlike half of these guys. So I don't know. John C., where are you picking this up? Nobody wants Pavia. I don't get it. Anyway, so we have Buffalo, Denver. Should be a tight game. One thing Josh Allen will do is probably keep the game close. Unless Denver really gets and then gets after him and blitzes the shit out of him, and bye-bye. He still has the concussion. He still hurt his knee. Will he be able to go? That's the question. I think he'll go because it's a playoff game, but he is a little banged. Frisco, Seattle, it's probably going to be closer than you think, although it's going to be hard for Frisco to score, but they got Darnold. So the great neutralizer. The Rams and the Bears will be a close game. The Bears will do their little magic at the end if they need it. I don't think they'll wait till the end to do it. And then the cold weather. So, if the game's close at all, the Bears will probably win. Although Stafford did lead them down at the end last week. So I think it's whoever has the ball last wins. And the Bears are certainly capable in this game because of the Rams defense. And I've already given you Houston, New England, very close low scoring game. Stafford and Allen, best 2 quarterbacks. Yeah, they are. And there's not much competition, is there? Brock Purdy. How about Darnold and Kayla? I mean, it's like a joke, the NFL now. All right. Miami goes to Indy. Indy is, I believe, 8.5, 46.5, 48.5. Let's see. Let's see the latest line. Now, this game's not till Monday night. Yeah, we got 8.5, 47.5. Texas lands number one transfer portal player to play alongside Arch Manning. Just get rid of Arch Manning. He stinks. Somebody said Arch Manning will be the number one quarterback next year. They said the same thing this year, but he sucked, right? He runs pretty good. It's not. I don't get this running quarterback crap. Uh, the price to get into the Indiana Miami game, $3,500 gets in price. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's a terrible thing. 3,500 to watch a football game. I got to eat. 3,500 for that. Are you kidding me? Let's see. John Mateer's returning to Oklahoma next year. Dante Moore, he's returning to Oregon. Oh, I'm sure they're thrilled. He's such a good quarterback. The guy stinks. This is the problem. Then he gets drafted. I heard he was going to be drafted second or third in the draft. You've got to be kidding. Do these guys not understand how to draft? Are they that stupid? You wonder why 7, 8 coaches get fired every year. It's because of idiot GMs who listen to the crowd, I guess, who can't make their own decision. So these are idiots, right? They can't just analyze and go, yeah, Dante Moore stinks. Arch Manning, he ain't going to win for us. And yet they'll draft them number one, number two, so they can say, look, Arch Manning is now the quarterback of Houston. Oh my God. Yeah, well, okay. So they'll score 7 points a game instead of the 10 they're scoring now? Let's see what my friend wants. Such a busy boy today. Okay. All that. I see a lot of times, whether it's NCAA basketball or football, the team that wins in a close game in the Final Four and the other teams win in a blowout, the team that wins close goes on to win it all. Well, because they have character. It's easy to win in a blowout, but it's hard to win the close games. So anyway, the GMs don't know what they're looking for. See, I know how to analyze the quarterback, right? Can he read the defense? What does he do under pressure? I don't want a runner. I don't know why they think a running quarterback is the answer when it's never been the answer. I mean, like as you said, even if we get Bo Nix, he's really not a runner. He can run, but he's more of a good pocket passer like Allen. And Stafford's in the pocket, and Caleb's in the pocket, and Purdy's pretty much in the pocket, and Darnell doesn't know where the pocket is. Stroud's in the pocket, and May likes to run a little bit. May's probably the biggest runner out of the bunch, so New England's not going to do anything. Um, but they don't win. They never have won. You had Donovan McNabb. You had the guy on Houston, McNair. You had the guy on Minnesota, Dante Culpepper. You had Cam Newton. They never won. Cam had a pretty good year. He was really a weak passer. And when they played Denver, they put a lot of pressure on him, and they lost because he couldn't run. And that's what Lamar, as soon as he gets into a playoff game, they put pressure on him, and he can't run, and we know he can't throw. So I don't get why the GMs, they're just catering to the public more than anything else, saying, well, everybody likes our pick. It's just like that idiot video I showed you where people just kind of agree they're not smart, right? They're idiots because they don't know what they know. They don't know they don't know, and so they just go along with, oh, I'm going to try to get likes. So I'm going to say something that'll get me likes. Would you like me to teach that and just say, well, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear so you'll like me? The fuck is that? Those are idiots. So you have that. You have idiots. There was one video where the guy said, well, the idiots are so stupid, they don't know they're idiots. And if they were very smart, they wouldn't be idiots. They wouldn't know what to do. Okay. So yesterday I'm at the gym and I'm listening to YouTube and I'm listening to one of the games or something, or one of the gold things. And I'm on the bike and there's a guy 2 bikes away from me. And he wants me to turn my YouTube down. So he's saying, turn it down. Turn the rate, turn your sound down. And I ignored him. He's like, excuse me. And I'm like, fuck off. I'm like, who are you? I can listen to my YouTube. I'm on my bike. You're on a bike, 2 bikes over. And he was he was a grown man who acted like a 5-year-old. So he keeps saying, excuse me. And I keep ignoring him. Like, I don't know who you are, what you are, and I have no desire to have a conversation with you. I'm going to stay stoic. So he comes over and puts his hand on me and he says, excuse me. And I go, what? He says, can you wear headphones? And I said, and he says, can you put headphones on? And I said, I don't have headphones. And who are you to tell me what to do? Right? Don't get out of my face. If you don't like it, go to another bike, or, put on headphones or earplugs if you want to not hear it. But I don't really give a fuck. And then he starts swearing at me and he goes, you're an asshole. You're fuck you, or something like that. And I'm kind of ignoring him. And then I kind of let him have it. And I said, just go fuck off. You must have like a 5, because he kept saying, fuck you, go fuck yourself, this and that. And I kept saying, well, you must have like a really high IQ, because I know that's where I can pound them. You're obviously not smart enough to have a real vocabulary if every word comes out of your mouth going, fuck this, fuck that. So he kept bothering me, and I just said, go fuck yourself. Leave me alone. There's no rule that says I have to have headphones. I don't like them. I don't like the way they react to my ears. So what do you want? And I just left him alone. So he said, go fuck yourself. And I just ignored him. And I finished my bike. I'm not going to be intimidated by him. So I finished. I was doing 15 minutes after swim because I had to get to swim early because of the swim thing. And then it's like if I'm listening to YouTube on my phone, on my bike as I'm working out, I don't have to have headphones. I don't really care about this guy sitting to if he hears it or not. He might learn something because it was like, Egon or something talking gold or talking about the war. I think it was the general colonel talking about the war in Ukraine or something. And I'm like, that was it. So I basically told him to fuck off, and I said that. So that was it. So I kind of left it alone. I kind of said, that was it. But it was interesting. The guy kept saying, fuck this and fuck that and fuck you and fuck off. And, that was the epitome of an idiot, right? First of all, I can't go walk over to somebody and tell them to turn down their music or turn down or if they're on the phone, you know how people get on the phone and they start talking loud. I don't, I have no right. You have no right to go up to them and say, can you keep it down? They're doing what they want. If they want anybody to hear a conversation, fine. We might not like it, but we can't say anything. It's their privacy. It's their thing. We can give them dirty looks saying, what the fuck, get off the phone, but we can't really say anything. And there's nothing. So when I'm listening to the general or colonel talk about the war or Egon talk about gold, I'm on the bike. I'm sitting there for 15 minutes. I don't want to just stare into space. So I want to watch one of my YouTubes. And for him to do that, I thought was way out of line. He kind of mumbled, well, if everybody uses headphones, nobody will hear it. Fine, but there's no rule on using headphones at the gym. And I don't really know you, and I really don't care anything about you. And if you're going to come over and bother me and then swear at me, I really have nothing to say to you. And he just wouldn't stop. I told him to just go fuck off. I says, I don't have to. I'm not going to do it. Go fuck off. And then he says, go fuck yourself. Like he had to get the last word. And I just said, forget it. But I was trying to ignore him the whole time until he comes over and, hey, buddy. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm ignoring you. Are you that stupid? You have no right telling me to put headphones. And I'm going to come today. I don't know if I never saw the guy before, and I'm going to do the same thing. I don't like headphones, and I'm going to keep my thing there. Anyway, yeah, well, what I see a lot, all that is like, especially in basketball, they'll be losing and they'll win by one, right? Kansas, Kentucky, whatever. And then they win the tournament, right? So they got scared and won. And that's what I see a lot in football. When the team is scared of the other team, that they'll play. But then they, like Georgia gets scared of Vanderbilt or Tennessee, and then they pound them because they're scared of them, versus a game against, Mississippi State where they'll just go out and play. Anyway, so in this game, we've got 7.5, 48, and it's just it's a tricky game. They're both A teams with strong defenses, as we know. Ole Miss was able to put up 27 on them, which is the most points I think they've allowed all year, was this 27 by Ole Miss. Indy, I never thought of them as an explosive team, but they do get explosive wins. The Iowa game was close. The Ohio State game, 13-10. But then they go off against Oregon, was their defense. They went off against Alabama. Well, the quarterback got hurt at halftime. So the guy played the first half that gets beaten up. The reserve comes in the second half. So for them to keep him to three is not a surprise. Oregon, Dante Moore stinks, so that was not a surprise. The fact they scored so much was a surprise because Oregon's defense, shut down Texas Tech 24-0. And James Madison lit them up pretty good. So in this game, I think it goes over. That's your free play anyway. we need 42, 41. It looks like 47 and a half, but probably get a 48. Why? Because Ohio State, the Ohio State game with Miami, 24-14. Now I know they scored late in the game. I know they scored late in the game. So we will see. So I think the game goes over. I got 30-27 Indy. I think they'll be able to score on Miami. Games in Miami. I don't think Indiana runs away with it like they did the last two games, unless Carson Beck gets knocked out. Because Alabama quarterback got hurt, and Oregon gave them all the. That's what I don't understand. You're saying how good Oregon's quarterback is, Dante Moore, and yet he throws all these turnovers and he doesn't show up in the big game, and you want to draft him number 2? Why? So when he gets into a big game, if he ever gets into a big game, what's he going to do? He's going to fall apart, sort of like Darnold does. Not who I want. I want the guy who wins. That's why I want Dagio Pava in a big game. He beats fucking Bama. That's what he does in a big game. So I don't really get what nobody's looking at Hart. They're just, I don't know what they're like. Oh, he's too small. What is he, 5 feet? Is he a hobbit or a dwarf? I mean, come on. So I think Indy and Miami can score on each other. And it seems like you start, it's like a snowball. They start scoring, they keep scoring. So I think it's more apt to be an under, or it's going to be a 13-10 game. And I don't know. And I'm leaning more towards over than I am under, which is unusual because normally I'd play this game under, and I'm being a little skewed by Miami scoring 24 on Ohio State, as I've said 17 times, and they scored a 31 on Miami. And the way Carson Beck looked, they seem to be able to score, and they got that little receiver. And then I see Indiana. Oh, they're putting up points. They're scoring. They're playing really good defense, but it's at Miami, and you can't look at Miami and think they're terrible. So the Mississippi was able to move on Miami. So I think Indy will move on them. And since Miami moved on Ohio State, and even Oregon put up 20 points, although you're probably getting the third string in there by that time. So I see that. And that's where I'm at with it. So I think they'll be nervous a little bit. It's in Miami, will help Miami. I think if Miami gets off to a good lead, I mean, I don't think you're going to get a pick six the first play of the game, right? So if Miami starts scoring on them, Indy will have to throw and score back. I don't think Indy can run it down Miami's throat. Maybe I'm wrong, but against that defense, I don't think you can do that. So I think Indy is going to have to throw the ball, which will lead to more scoring, and I think Miami will have to throw the ball. Get more into a passing game. I think this is a back and forth game. I do not think at any stretch of the wildest imagination, Indy's going to beat them 42-0. I mean, you got to be kidding. That's not going to happen, right? You beat Ohio State. That's a big beat, right? So I just don't see that. John C. TK, you look healthy. Well, I did an 89-hour fast. I was starting to feel a little heavy. And so I did the 89-hour fast and took care of that. And that was it. So that's why I do it. I do it to clean my body. It's called autography. After 18 hours, the little cleaners in your body come out. Sort of how you break your arm. And if you break your arm, your body heals it, right? Your body will heal everything. I apologize for all the messages. So anyway, the autography heals you like a bro. So it heals your all your kidneys, your liver, your heart, everything gets healed. Your blood vessels and any bad cells that you have, it'll heal it. So that's really what you're looking at. And that's why I do it. I attempt to do 48 hours, and then as it goes, I do more than 48. So when you get there, you kind of just can psych yourself into it going, like Tuesday night, I could have eaten. I said, if I don't eat, I'm going to go sleep. And then I wake up and it's another 12 hours. So you kind of do that. And then once you're at 72 hours, I could have eaten Wednesday, but I said, you know what? I'm going to wait till Thursday. So I ate right after class and I was smart. I had like an omelet and some pita bread and an avocado, my normal, and that was it. And it was fine. And I had dinner. I had chicken and a salad, and that was it. And I haven't eaten since like 7 last night, and I'm going to eat right after class. I got to go get Alyssa. That's why I'm on a little early. But that's the key. So that's the point of it. And you do that. So, it's very healthy for you. Again, it's, yeah, sometimes you're a little heavy. I tried to explain it to Alyssa and I said to her, my body's eating my fat. I feel a little heavy. Chocolate cream pie for Christmas, right? So you get a little fat, but when you're fasting, your body eats the fat because it needs energy. Your body always needs energy. It's like your car. You need gas in the car to drive it, right? If it gets empty, you got to go fill it up. You can't drive without the gas, and that's what the body needs energy. But the fat is stored energy, right? It doesn't know what to use the sugar for, so it stores it, and you get fat. But if you just don't eat anything, you get rid of the fat that way. Um, the body will eat the fat for energy because it needs energy to maintain you. So that's the key to it. So that's why if you want to lose fat, just do some fasting. Now, in the fast, I can drink water with my ginger. I can drink coffee and tea. No sweet and low. Just I put actually cinnamon and ginger in it. Like this thing on the bottom is ginger. You take that, you get that hand of ginger and you cut it and then you slice it. You slice off the skin, and I just put it in my. I don't ground it. I just put it in. But that's what you do, and it makes you healthy, and that's the whole point of it. But yeah, I always feel pretty healthy because I pretty much fast every day, and once in a while I have a donut or an ice cream. It's just normal. I get bored of the other, but that's what's happening. Anyway, I'm going to get going. Let's look at our gold and silver to end the class. And again, it's worth so much more than what we're seeing. And let's see. Gold took the 10 o'clock drop and it went down to 40. So it got hammered at 8 o'clock and then it got really hammered at 10, down from 46.10 to 45.50. Now it's waking its back to 46. Silver also, I assume, got crashed at 10 o'clock. No, I got Classmore at 8, a little bit at 10, down to 87. Now it's back to 88, back to 90. I wouldn't worry about these. I don't know what the people are doing with these, with this 10 o'clock crap. The US does it all the time. It's really not the real price. It's the paper price. That's why we differentiate it. But I wouldn't worry about it. We'll be fine. 88.17. It'll be back to 90. It's a 90. They're changing the margin rules at 93. All this bullshit. They can do all they want. It's paper. We don't care. It doesn't affect us. A margin doesn't affect us. All right. I will leave you. I will talk to you tomorrow morning. We don't really have games tomorrow. So, oh no, we do. We have the two pro games. When are they? So we have the Bills 4:30 and 8 o'clock. So we got time, but I'll be on probably about 11 or so. Anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. I apologize when sometimes I get the internet problem late in my, like yesterday. It was just near the end, and so I'm not going to come back on after 2 hours, but I do apologize. But it's not anything. It's like today, the internet was fine. We're on an hour 15. I didn't have any internet problems. Sometimes I don't know what they're doing, and I get the internet disconnection. There's nothing I can do. So I apologize for that. But again, I'm not leaving without saying goodbye. So have a good day. www.teaserking.com. Have a good weekend. Enjoy. Free pick. New England, Houston under, Miami, and Indianapolis and college over. All right. Good luck. Keep buying your gold and silver. These are just silver drops a couple dollars. It's a great buying opportunity. It'll be 1,000 just over time, right? Okay. Thanks very much. Have a good day.